The construction of the La General Hospital began over 2 years ago. Just next month, it will be the third year. But just after a couple of months, when the initial work started, clearing and subsequently breaking down the old structure, work stalled. We're here at the facility, but we just want to give you a description of currently where the facility is. This is the entrance, and we have great aerial view about stalling of work over the period. This gives you indication that the 160-bed hospital that was intended has so far not been constructed. By this time, the project phase or completion should have been winding up or getting to that phase. And it is the residents of La, the adjoining communities, and those on this stretch leading to Nungwa, Teshi, and others who have become victims to the stalling of construction of the 160-bed capacity La General Hospital project. Well, a number of these residents who are concerned have come around. We want to speak to a number of them, and then we'll speak to concerned citizens of La, as well as the rest of the Gun state, and then get some insights. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Vida Baden.
Vida, you're a resident here, and tell me your experiences about using the old hospital back in the day.
Okay, we used to have access to the hospital as soon as possible. Anytime you have any health issues, you just run off with your card and then you are being served. But now we have a challenge. We have a very big challenge. Before you be rushed to either police hospital, 37, or Ridge Hospital, it's a very big challenge. Sometimes you will go and they will ask you, where are you coming from? I'm coming from La, and they will say that go to the La Tenu, which is a very small place, very small facility. You don't have access to a lot of things, and it's like it's really a challenge to the community. It's a challenge to us.
Has there been a conversation among you residents, maybe at any particular point in time within the last, I would say, 2 years, 11 months, since they cut short for the construction of this project, that you thought that you missed the old hospital despite its dilapidated state?
Yes, we missed the old hospital because I think about 3 weeks ago there was an issue, some health issue with somebody in one of the churches, and the person was being rushed to either police hospital or 37. I don't know which hospital, but we heard that there was a siren taking the person to another hospital, and it's rather unfortunate that we lost the man. So I'm thinking that if the hospital was still here, would have gotten a first aid before being transferred to another hospital. So we really, really need the hospital, no matter how bad the state of the hospital was. We really miss the hospital.
At the beginning of when the sword was cut over 2 years ago for this project, we're told that, well, this is going to serve the community. Were you hopeful then?
Yes. I was very, very hopeful because one of the TV stations also interviewed me, and I told them that I am really, really waiting for that 24 months because that's what the health minister said, that it's going to take 24 months. And we've been counting, and the 24 months is not yet in our calendar. So we are waiting.
Oh, thank you. Well, again, your name?
My name is Vida Baden.
If there's one thing, Vida, you want to tell the president about this, the Minister of Health, what should it be concerning the stalling or the stopping of this project?
Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Ghana, Health Minister, please, I beg you, on behalf of the La community, I beg you, we need our hospital back as soon as possible. As soon as possible, please.
And that's Vida Baden. But look, the entrance just has an inscription, a number of inscriptions. That gives you a certain remembrance about when active work was conducted. And that'll be way back in 2020. So you see that the Parliamentary Subcommittee on Health, Mr. Akanda, who leads that committee, incessantly has complained while this project was started, it hadn't been added to the number of the 88 hospitals. Now they've even been enrobed. We're talking about this whole project and the communities to benefit into the Agenda 111 part of the expedited hospitals that are being constructed across the country. But it also means that a number of people who are undertaking, I would say, that trade and commerce around, just because when you go to a number of hospitals across the country, you find that trade and commerce or the livelihood of people tends to depend on the patronage of such big hospitals. So we're not talking only about rage, etc. But so let me speak to okay.
Actually, Lawe.
Okay, so it's called Lawe, and Lawe for now be a few. You're also a resident here. What's your view about the stalling of this project so far? If every indication was possible, by next month, with a timeline that we're told for this 68 million euro project, it should have been completed by now.
Lele, ake sani a complete ni, ake la bi ake about pay ni. For so many years, one in Shika, she been no Lament bo, no wala ake ni ne abagbena. Shika by this time so the ne akaste. There's nothing going on. That is very bad.
Okay, so he's saying that for the last 2 years and over, when the sword was cut, the expectation was high. There'd been the expectation that at least the chieftains or the kings and kings of the Gas State will have a certain benefit, especially the people of Lion, the beneficiary communities will have this completed. It is a disappointment, according to him, that the project has so far stalled. No, Mempi, because of this project.
Mempi, yeah, Mempi. Agbeneke Mokobehi wale besani akelaya police hospital. Nike okay ojela be esani. Then you have to say ojeteshi. Dan abakwebo. Call the police hospital. But then okay ojeteshi. Dani abakwebo. We keko ojela le akwebo kula because we attach nabakumo hospital and it's very bad.
To the point that he says that sometimes there are insinuations that are cast at the various hospitals for where emergencies are sent by residents of La, especially when they have to mention that they are residents. So for many of the times they are teased that, well, you were available or present when the old hospital was demolished for a new one, which has since stalled. And so, for many of the times, they have to say that they are either from Teshi or beyond before they are served in the community or the next hospital they are able to send emergencies. No, mini it's an warfare. What can we do now? It's
an work power president Fai. Koni noni ewe akebasi emanomi koni ebafi ahawo immediately. When one qualifying one daleshin, ake we money we ne manomi akebasi one qualify never fee immediately.
Conscious. Oh, find me joke back.
Actually, brala way.
Oh, lawe. Oh, right, don't. Now, you get to find that for many of the times, many residents around here. Now, we'll show you the stretch. You take a look at the stretch. For many residents just closer to the beach area, they ideally would have had this as a first gap measure where they had medical emergencies. So you see that currently is not the situation. Let me speak to a number of people who also either live in this community, they also either work here, etc. Gideon, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, your full name again?
Gideon Agbesi Ajagbo.
Okay, Mr. Ajagbo, you take a look at where you teach, just close to Osu. And ideally, this hospital should be serving your students as well. And then, because also within the community that you operate, is it a disappointment, Gideon, that this hospital has stalled?
Exactly. It has been a disappointment to me. And you see, living in a community as a teacher, a lot of people look up to us. And La General Hospital has been the place where most people, Teshin, La, Osu, and its Evanros. This has been the exact point where whenever there's anything they rush to. It has been even most of our students, yes. As a teacher, I think it is a problem, and I am pleading for me enough trumpeting about the problem, but then we need to do something quickly. And so I am pleading on all those that matters. I wish that there has been Lament. He should be the best person
to spearhead.
However, the way the chieftaincy issues have become, and I believe that now it is now about we, the people, because when I'm ill, this is the best point. If I'm ill and there's none, like last time the other lady was saying, somebody died instantly. Yeah, yes, was the people apparently they were going to a police hospital, and they said, okay, let them, and the road they constructed, there was no proper U-turn. I'm telling you, my brother, when I want to go out of the estate, I have to go and turn at
the hotel?
Yes, and even if you are not,
that will be Labadi Beach Hotel.
Labadi Beach Hotel. Can you imagine? If you don't pass here, then you are. So it means that
ideally, if this hospital was there, that should have been curtailed. Or even if you want to go to the next hospital, then at least there should have been. But because there's construction and the traffic on the road.
Formerly there was a U-turn just at Mawaku. They took it off. That you would have even made a U-turn. So the fellow making a U-turn at that place, the fellow died before even having a turn to this place.
Gideon, you're not a happy man.
I am not a happy man. You can see, you know me already. I am not a happy man at all. I am pleading. Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, we know you are intelligent. We know how you have been. We know your actions even before you became a president. I know if you were not a president, today you would have stood tall to challenge whoever will bring these things down. My brother, before this building was brought down, they just built a dental clinic. Yeah, very nice. And then we didn't even know, no information, nothing before I realized all that down. The mortuary down. The maternity ward down. A story building. You can see that there's a mirage. I can imagine how this place would have been if this hospital were to be around. They would have seen a lot of improvement in Malawi. Look, you can look at even look at the economic activity of the area. Look, the whole what,
shops,
they are rusted, everything. And can imagine when we say GDP, it is gross domestic productivity, and it comes from individual productivity. So if all these things are going down the drain, that means that it will even affect our GDP.
No wonder where we are. Gideon, you're not a happy man. Thank you very much, Gideon. Gideon is also a resident, and he's also a teacher in one of the senior high schools just across here. And because he's also a community member, is very much disturbed. But let me speak to another community member. How are you?
I'm good.
What's your name?
Esther.
Esther.
Yeah.
Auntie Esther, you clearly have seen that your co-residents or other residents within your community are extremely unhappy about the stalling of this project.
Yeah. I don't stay here often. I stay at US, but I was so sad when I came back to see that they demolished this place, because last time I came, when the hospital was functioning, it's like my pressure, I forgot to bring my pressure equipment. So I just rushed to come inside so they can check my pressure. So I was thinking, if somebody's sick right now and the person is supposed to be rushed to the hospital, and
emergency care.
Yeah, and we don't even have all these things. You have to go to police hospital or 37 or Ridge Hospital. I think they have to do something about this.
Meaning that the last time you were here from the US, so it means that would be over nearly 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Welcome to Ghana.
Thank you.
What's your own observation so far about things around not only the hospital, the states of the concerns about?
I'm impressed with the streets, the way they
reconstruct.
Yes, and certain area, the way they're doing the estates and those stuff. I'm impressed. Ghana has moved forward a lot.
Okay. So, but this hospital has to be constructed.
This one is my problem.
Yeah, I know, right? Which part of the states are you?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. That's a New Jersey woman.
Yes.
I wish you all the best going back to the state. Will you go back soon?
Yes.
Okay. I wish you safe travel.
Thank you.
Okay. So Auntie Esther is a resident, non-resident. Okay. She lives in the state, but she's just depicting to us how emergencies could have been avoided. Now, let me speak to my auntie here, Auntie Maku. Okay. Because Because ni babi okay TV3 ke GH1 ke peace what babi
because of one last one.
Okay, no, Ofe last one. She's doing the last TV interview on this. She's tired. She says.
Auntie Akufo-Addo. Babi 24 months.
Babi
2020. 20 cut sword. They call 24 months mafin. Agbene 36 next month 36 months. One anoko Chinese we content say babi abamela kami ame workers up to now. I mean no me famwe shipote. Open security fio 3 to 4 you inside on qualify. E afa shika ne ka ba hospital. One no fia no efite.
E afa shika.
E afa
shika yangbe.
E afa e afa. Ne ka me won qualify. So
the last interview by Auntie Maku ke okwe hospital ni ahanwo assurance ake and then they haven't done it. How disappointed are you?
Disappointed kura wono fia no afite ni se no so mo ko yen show na manko egbo ni efele so mo chu na rushile mi ka ade bia ntu ni kwaka ba babi e se na so bo te man egbo ne ba so mo e won qualify che kura acho
ani nye ho ni bi ke
fia no afite wono fia no afite bi na
benju afio ni nye ba
ke pio takalasa wona ka bia mu ejo mo nya mo ba
we are begging. Auntie Maku, who is conducting her last interview, is here. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. But look, we need to speak to a number of stakeholders as much as possible. The gate currently, with a GPS address GL0069065, is just there. It's just an empty gate. We're told that there's security personnel who have been assigned to make sure that they guard the place. And for many of the times when we have the media coming around, you find them. But let me speak to a young man. You should be a student, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Which school?
Laboni Senior High.
Okay. And are you a resident here?
I'm a student. My mom just works around.
Okay. So did you know that this was supposed to be a hospital and it has to be constructed? What's your own view on it as a young student?
Yeah, it's really a big problem because the time we were in school, that was last year, we had an emergency case, and if the hospital was like in place, we just rush the person here. But the time we go here and we just found out the news, it was like heartbreaking. Before we rushing the guy to reach, it was too late. That was my best friend. So I'll be pleading on the president that he should like find a bed to rise up the let me say the Lagena again, because the people are really pleading and also they are in pain, and let me say they are also stranded at the moment because of, let me say, the local and the down currency, because some people cannot leave from here to other hospital. There's a community hospital, yes, and it's really worrying people around.
Okay. How old are you?
18, please.
Oh, thank you very much. What's your name?
Stephen.
Oh, Steve-O. Well, Steve-O from Laboni School, giving us the latest update. Well, thank you, Stephen. But let me speak to a gentleman who tends to represent the Gandangbe community. We decided also to have an insight from him. Prince Derek Ajay will be joining me finally. We'll have some comprehensive discussion on the subject. And then after, Lawrence Lamptey, who is a kinsman of La, also will finally climax it off. So if Lawrence is ready, he can also join me. But first, Prince and Prince Derek Ajay, you're big activists on the subject, as well as the need for many state lands that have not been used for the right purposes based on what legislation is to also be reverted to the Gan state. What do you make of the current state of this project?
I think it's been summarized by the people. Disappointment is an understatement. I really am surprised that despite the efforts being made by the MP of the area, who has made this her special #1 project that she's been pursuing, despite the efforts of Honorable Akando and his team on the health committee going around checking on these facilities, that the government, notwithstanding the fact that they said the money was available, that this project has not been done. Indeed, in other areas, they claim that there's no land. There is land here, so there should be no problem. If there's land and there's money, there are no rocks over here. So those excuses that they've been given are untenable. I believe strongly
that those that you interviewed so far have been very mild in their comments. We need to get wild, not mild anymore.
What do you mean?
I think that it's about time that we took people on frontally. Lives have been lost. In fact, I lost my uncle last week. He lives in La. He was taken to Ridge. By the time they got there, it was late. Oxygen could not save him. If he had gotten just in the nick of time from here to where he lives, that's near the Nyumocha, okay? And from Nyumocha to Ridge, which is further. Akufo-Addo is murdering people. Ajimamenu, you are a murderer. And I think that we must start effecting citizens' arrests. We must arrest these criminals. They are murderers. For goodness sake.
Just because of the delay of the project. You use, someone will say you have to use decorous language.
No, you see, when you die, I don't think that you'll be asking for decorum. And I don't think I've not been decorous at all. Arresting somebody is a right of every citizen. And I think that these people are criminals. The health minister has committed a crime against the people of Ghana. Where is the money for the project? They must tell us. If they've chopped the money, they should tell us they've chopped the money. And if they have chopped it, they must be taken through the process. There's no excuse. There's no...
So you're asking for accountability.
Not just accountability. It must be arrested by citizens of this country.
Well, Prince Derek J is a big activist on the subject. Now, Lawrence Lamte, you're somebody very much La is at the center of your heart. I have to literally say that. How disappointed are the residents, the natives, the people of La? Both either residents in the community are journeying or even in country or abroad?
La is much disappointed in this government, especially giving us a promise that you are coming to build a new hospital. Not that you start at one point and demolish the rest later, but you demolished everything, including our mortuary. Do you know, at a time, people used to prefer La mortuary, we call it La Polyclinic mortuary, to that of police hospital. That shows how well they keep our mortuary. Today, when somebody dies, you must either rush the funeral or you will send the body to Pantine Hospital. Because we don't have any mortuary again. This hospital was strategic because it serves the people of La, Teshi, Nungwa, even Tema. Also people are here. Even sometimes people from Kolebu who are not able to do something well there, they bring them to Gamashi. So if we are able to host all these people, and this area is a very, very big area, and all the businesses around, everything collapsed just because somebody said, I'm going to build a hospital where there was a jamboree and there were placards. You see, when you start from Dankwa, you will see billboards starting from there to this place, and even from here to Teshi, that we are coming to build a hospital. People jubilated. Then afterwards, there is no hospital here. Then we hear of something like Agenda 111. So we were also happy that, oh, maybe we have already secured the land. We have a hospital here which has been demolished. So here will be the start of it. Only to hear, they said they are starting at some other places. Then you see that they have, either government has something against La people, the people of La. Because it is only about demolition. Our trade fair has been demolished. The same applies to our general hospital, which saves several lives. You know, 4 years ago, there was a friend of mine who had cholera. He stays just around Apapa. Apapa to this place, it's just a walking distance. The person was in room, was just suffering from cholera. The only thing I could do was that I got there and I brought the guy here. The hospital told me that if I had taken an hour more, he would have died.
Of delay. He would have died. This shows how strategic this hospital is to La people. Initially, it was a polyclinic, so they were in facilities. But subsequent developments, then it became a general hospital. We were happy there were development that made it a general hospital, where we have the maternity at the top, we have the labor ward, everything down there. So if you wanted to do something, even the car park was bigger than the main hospital. So start something from the car park. Then when you start something, then when you move forward, you just move things into the new structure. Then we also get a new hospital, but nothing like that. Well, Lawrence Lamte, thank you very much. He's a La youth activist. He's very much big on making sure development takes place in La, right here in Accra. And it's because a facility that was expected to have been constructed at a cost of some 68 million euros has not been done. Currently, the frontages are indicating work has so far stalled. The question is, when is work going to continue for this big hospital to serve not only La, but also Teshi, Nungwa, Osu, Gamashi, other areas adjoining these communities? Now back to the studio.